You're in bed, it's late, or possibly even worse, the early hours of the morning. You are desperate to get rest. But then, howling through the house comes a sound both distracting and distressing. The relentless meowing of your furball. You are not alone. Many a cat parent has experienced this. But why? Why do cats insist on waking us up in the middle of the night with their endless cries? Don't worry, we've got answers. And not just answers, solutions as well. These are reasons why your cat meows at night and how to solve it. 1. Attention seeking. While it may seem harsh to say, sometimes they're just seeking attention. And I can't say I blame them. We all love a little bit of attention from time to time, don't we? In fact, it's one of the most common reasons cats meow all night. According to the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, otherwise known as ASPCA, have pointed out that many cats will resort to hefty nighttime vocalizations if during the day they get used to constant meowing being rewarded with food or attention. And of course, when you're awake and it's daylight out, you love to treat your little fluff ball to love and snacks. The problem is, you might have accidentally reinforced the idea that if they are loud, it will be rewarded. So they think the same applies at night. But when they meow, you don't come running for scratches and treats, because you're trying to sleep, or maybe even already dozing off. But I promised you solutions, and a solution I have. As cruel as this may seem, one of the only ways to discourage their petulant nighttime howls, if this is the reason for it, is to simply ignore the meowing. Think of it as being a little like letting a baby cry out in the night. Granted, that's a very controversial parenting technique as is. But the logic is that your baby will come to realize that causing such a fuss does not lead to a reward, so will eventually stop. And this applies to your fur babies as well. After several nights of crying out, only for you to ignore them, they'll come to understand that for some reason, demanding attention at nighttime simply does not yield the same results as demanding it during the day. The other possible solution, and this is the far more fun solution, is to heap mountains of attention on them during the day. Kiss them, pet them, play with them, truly exhaust yourself and them out. Then come the night, they won't cry out for attention because they're simply too tired. Or they're just sick of you and need a little bit of time alone. 2. Hunger. Let's get another one of the more obvious reasons out of the way before we dive face first into some of the more surprising things on the list. Like how they might be an outdoor cat forced to be an indoor cat. More on that in a bit. And that's hunger. You don't have to have a PhD in feline shenanigans to know that most, if not all cats are big fans of eating. They can hoover up calories without a care in the world for their waistline, and we love them for it. So, if your cat is constantly crying out at night, there's a strong chance they're demanding food. There's even more of a chance this is the case if you've fallen out of the habit of consistent time for feeding. And I get it. Stuff happens. You might have to stay late at work now and then, and before long, you'll find that your fur baby's dinner time is all over the place. I promise this doesn't make you a bad pet parent. Far from it. But cats learn from repetition and patterns. If only men did the same, am I right? So, if there's no consistent pattern to when they're fed, they might cry out for food, even if they've already eaten, as they feel they have no guarantee of when they get to eat next. So, what's the solution? If this sounds true of your situation, and you're able to shift into a more consistent routine for feeding, I cannot recommend it enough. But if this sounds like your situation, and you're unable to break out of it for one reason or another, hope is not lost. Simply make sure, especially just before you head off to the land of Nod, there's a full dish of water and bowl of dry food ready for your fur baby to tuck into at their own discretion. That way, if they start to panic that they don't know where their next meal is coming from, they'll immediately chill out before screaming because some nice crunchy snacks will be waiting, ready to tide them over until you finally crawl out of bed. 3. Medical issues. Sadly though, constant vocalization at night is a touch more than attention-seeking or a demand for food. As heartbreaking as it is, it can also be a sign of medical problems on the horizon. In particular, kidney disease, hyperthyroidism, or cognitive dysfunction syndrome, otherwise known as CDS. Given how many other reasons there are as to why a cat might meow all day, there's no need to panic and jump to the conclusion that your precious furball is unwell. But it might be worth keeping an eye out for some of the other symptoms of those 3 issues if your furry friend is suddenly very loud at night. Want to know what the symptoms are? It's time for a list within a list. A. If your poor baby has kidney disease, some early symptoms include increased thirst, slight lethargy, urinating more often than usual, probably because of the increased thirst. That's biology for you. A reduction in appetite, slight weight loss. Some advanced symptoms include hunched posture, bad breath, ulcers, vomiting, more serious lethargy, and weight loss. If their late-night meowing is a sign of hyperthyroidism, some other symptoms they might have will include weight loss and increased thirst, vomiting and diarrhea, an increase in restlessness, poor quality of their coat, greasy or unkempt fur, stuff like that. Don't worry, the upsetting list is nearly over. C. Cognitive dysfunction syndrome. CDS is pretty comparable to dementia in humans and only really affects older cats. So if your furball is young, you can rule it out off the bat. But if they're a little older, some things to keep an eye out for are disorientation, aka wandering aimlessly or getting stuck in corners, changes in interactions, for example, getting aggressive more easily or reduced interest in spending time with you, general changes in activity. Classic examples include an increase in pacing and decrease in grooming. As a handy bit of general advice, the American Veterinary Medical Association, that's the AVMA for fans of initialisms, recommend always keeping an ear out for changes in your cat's vocal habits, especially if meowing becomes unusual or excessive compared to usual. There is unfortunately little you can do in terms of preemptive measures, but after checking if your feline friend has any other symptoms on the list, it's worth booking a vet's appointment before things escalate. Though you can, of course, book an appointment as soon as the excessive meowing begins, if you'd rather not wait around. Ultimately, it's better to be safe than sorry sometimes. At the end of the day, the key to knowing if it's worth speaking to your vet is to trust your gut. You know your cat better than anyone else. You probably know them better than they know themselves. So if your gut insists this isn't normal meowing, and something is maybe up, ring the vet and get an appointment in the diary. 4. Environmental factors. As simple as this may seem, if your cat is crying out at night when they're never used to something, might have just changed in their environment. Maybe there are noises or some other disturbances that are bothering them and they're meowing in the hope of waking you up because they want you to help deal with it. Maybe it's another cat, or traffic, perhaps sirens, or something random like a raccoon. It's actually the simplest and perhaps obvious reason of all. If you think this might be the cause of your cat's late-night noises, the Humane Society recommends simply closing blinds at night. Thanks, guys, I couldn't think of that myself. Or if it's something you can justify the expense of, buying a white noise machine to drown out the disturbing noises. Number 5. Age-related changes. Earlier, I touched upon cognitive dysfunction syndrome. This is common in a lot of cats as they age, just like how dementia can be common in humans. If your fur baby is less of a fur baby and more of a fur senior citizen, there's a chance that they're developing, or have developed, CDS as part of the natural aging process, and this is the cause of their increased nighttime meows. Ultimately, without access to the fountain of youth, reversing your cat's age is out of the question. 6. Outdoors cat feels trapped. Do you have an indoor cat? Has the amount they meow at night escalated recently? Well, there's a chance that in their heart, they might rather be an outdoor cat, as the nighttime cries are similar to, as just touched upon, a sign that they're bored or understimulated. Now, just releasing them into the wild may not quite work for your lifestyle or situation. For example, the area in which you live might not be apt for an outdoor cat, and you know that. At the end of the day, you chose to treat them as an indoor cat for a reason, because you know the environment. You know what's best for them. So what do? Thankfully, the solution is pretty simple. Similar to if your cat is just generally bored or understimulated, provide all you can around the house to keep them busy and integrate regular playtime into their life, to give them that adventurous and active lifestyle they're clearly seeking. So, those are some of the real reasons why your cat is meowing at night and what you can do about it. And hopefully that will help them sleep. But once they do, you'll find they sleep in all manner of weird positions, and you'll be desperate to know what those positions mean. Don't worry, I can solve that puzzle as well in this next video.